Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to another LearnSomali.com lesson. Today's lesson is about pronouns. Pronouns Magac u yaal. Aniga, I. Adiga, you. Asaga, he. Ayada, she. Anaga, we. Adinka, you. This is the plural version, so it's like you guys. It's not only you. Ayaga, they. And in Somali, normally it is not used, so it's either asaga, he, or ayada, she, because names are gendered, so it's either feminine or masculine, like all nouns, whether it's a house, a chair, an airplane, things are either he or she in Somali. So using it is not common, and I don't really know if there's even a word for it. So in Somali there are different dialects, different language, but there is one main language, the Somali language. There's different regions have different ways of saying things, sometimes very similar, sometimes very different. So in Somali there are two main languages, Mai and Mahatiri. Mahatiri is the standard Somali that most people speak, but also Mai is spoken by many people in the Baidabo area. Some people say Somali, Mai and Somali Mahatiri have a lot of similarities, and some people say it's the same language, but I believe it's two different languages. They may have some things in common, but when people speak Mai, I don't really understand at all. There are also other smaller regional languages, maybe tribal languages as well. There's Aftunni, there's Af Mushunguli, there's Af Garre, there's Af Bantu. Af means the language and the other is the name. So these might be also the names of tribes, probably. These are the names of tribes, and there's like their own small languages. So back to the pronouns. So we learned that there are about 7 pronouns: aniga, I; adiga, you; asaga, he; ayada, she; anaga, we; adinka, you, plural; and ayaga. And we said it is not a pronoun in Somali, so it's either he or she, because the Somali language is, like, as they say, gendered language, where nouns are either has feminine or masculine. So as we said, there are different regions might say things differently, words, the pronouns. So here is a different spelling for some of the pronouns that we talked about. So aniga, I; adiga, you; isaga. I think the first time we said asaga, and you might find people say isaga, as well as iyada. We said ayada in the first few slides, but some people might say iyada or innaga for we, idinka for you, iyaga for they. This is the version that we're going to use. So aniga, adiga, asaga, ayada, anaga, adinka, ayaga. Also, if you paid attention, it's very interesting that the endings of the pronouns are also articles. So aniga, the ga at the end, and adiga, asaga, ayada, all those endings that I highlighted in red, they're all articles. Somehow all the pronouns have articles attached to them. You might find someone say ani or adi, but it's normally used aniga. That ga at the end is the article. Why is the article there? I don't know. That's how I learned it. If you have any explanation, you could leave it in the comment section. Maybe you could teach us something if you know. Sometimes pronouns can be used in a question form. So you could say aniga, which means I, adiga, you, asaga, he, ayada, she, anaga, we, adinka, you, ayaga, they. So if someone tells you, for example, they did so and so, and then you say ayaga, like, so you want to make sure. And sometimes, like in a sentence, you might say anigu, adigu, asagu, ayadu, anagu, adinku, or ayagu. Also pay attention, ayadu, when it's she, is like du at the end, ayadu. And when it's they, the last one will be ayagu. It might have the similar, kind of a similar pronunciation, but it's ayadu and they is ayagu. So pronouns are used in the place of nouns. That's the definition of the pronoun. So instead of saying Abdi did this and Abdi did that and Abdi did this, and instead of like repeating the name over and over again, you could say, oh, Abdi did this and he did that, and then he did that, and then he didn't do that. So pronouns are used in place of nouns. Another interesting thing about the Somali language is when you're speaking or even writing in Somali, you don't always have to show the pronoun. You could actually form a complete sentence without even saying any of the aniga, adiga, asaga. There are some things that you could use that can help you leave the noun, leave the pronoun, and then still form the sentence while you're still showing which pronoun is in question. So I'm going to call these pronoun helpers or pronoun indicators. And when you use the pronoun in Somali or use a pronoun indicator, still the verb that you're using has to agree with the sentence, because he or she or they will actually have different versions of the verb. In English, you might see someone say he drove the car, she drove the car, and they drove the car, and all the time the word drove still stays the same. But in Somali, if you say she drove the car, and if you say he drove the car, those two might not be even the same. It might be two different versions of the verb. So the verb that you're using with the pronoun has to agree with the right version of the verb. We will see a lot of examples, and that hopefully will help you. I'm making this a lot more complicated than it is, but I will do my best to give you enough examples to see what I'm referring to. So in this table, the first column is the pronoun. The second column, it's how you start the sentence in Somali, and it normally is, it is that. And the third column is the pronoun indicator, which tells you which pronoun you're going to use. And the fourth column is an example of the verb and how it changes from one pronoun to another. So we'll go each row, and then the last two columns is just additional examples of the verbs that would change, depends on which pronoun you use. So in the very first row, it's aniga waan bahay. That means I left. The second column is adiga waad bahday. You left. Asaga waa uu bahay. He left. Ayada waa ay baxday. She left. Anaga waa aan baxnay. We left. Adinka waa aad baxdeen. You left. So this is the plural version. And the last column is ayaga waa ay baxeen. They left. So all this baxay, baxday, baxay, baxeen is just the verb, and if you could see that it changes from one pronoun to another, and also some pronouns share the same format of the verb. And the last two columns is the same. You could say aniga wa an onay. That means I ate. Aniga adiga wa at ontay or abtay. You ate and you drank. Asaga wa u onay or abay. He ate or he drank. So you could see how the verb has to agree with the pronoun. Also, in the next slide or so, you will see that a lot of times Somali language uses something, the contracting of the two words and making it smaller version of the two. So wa'an will later be one. Instead of two separate words, it'll be one word. And that is also in the examples in the next few slides. So wa'u, wa'ay, wa'an, those will be way, what, one, and I will show you in the next few slides if you will be patient with me. Hold on. Before we do that, there's another example. Aniga. There's again the pronoun column, and then if you add a noun and pronoun indicator, then you could add an auxiliary verb, and then you can add a verb. So I will read this sentence to help you see how the pronoun indicators and also the auxiliary verbs change too. Not only the verbs change. So the very first row is aniga qofka aan ahay mataqaan. Do you know who I am? Adiga qofka aad tahay mataqaan. Do you know who you are? And the third row is asaga qofka uu yahay mataqaan. Do you know who he is? Fourth row, ayada qofka ay tahay mataqaan. Do you know who she is? Anaga dadka aan nahay mataqaan. Do you know who we are? Adinka dadka aad tihiin mataqaan. Do you know who you are? This is the plural version again. Ayaga dadka ay yihiin mataqaan. Do you know who they are? And as I said, you could also leave the whole pronoun and use these indicators and still form a complete sentence. You could actually say, instead of aniga qofka aan ahay mataqaan, you could say qofka aan ahay mataqaan. Or you could say qofka aad tahay mataqaan, qofka uu yahay mataqaan, qofka ay tahay mataqaan. So there's the whole pronoun can be actually omitted, and still you can understand which pronoun we are talking about. This is the same as the previous slide, except it shows you that you could actually use full sentence, complete full sentence, without even using the pronoun. Here I tried to color code to show you how pronouns have different indicators, and also some pronouns, they have the same indicators. So aniga uses an. Also, if you follow the blue color, anaga, we also uses an. Adiga, second row, is you, and you takes ad. Also adinka, you, the plural, takes ad. Asaga, this is a unique one, only asaga uses u. And next one is ayada, she uses I, and if you look at the last one, it says ayaga, it also uses a as an indicator. But then if you can't use start sentence with an to show that you're talking about aniga, I, but it has to be this has to be like in the middle. Something has to come first, and then you use the indicator, and then you either add a noun or a pronoun, or a verb. But then even though, for example, aniga and I and we have the same indicators, their verbs have to agree, because they have to be different version of the verb, different of the same verb, like different ways to say the verb. I hope this explains enough. So another more examples will be the pronoun, the indicator, are the first two columns, and then the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns are actually examples. So aniga, if you skip the pronoun indicator column, which is the second column, and you say aniga waan, or aniga waxaan, aniga sidan, aniga markan, aniga haddii aan, all of the first row takes an with another word. That tells you it's the pronoun is either I, or the pronoun is either we. And as I said, we will use a lot of contractions, and wa'an and sidaan. All of these there will be like a shorter version, like how we use do not and don't, cannot and can't, and does not, doesn't. And in Somali it's like that. So the two words will be connected, and then they will make a new, hopefully shorter version of the word. So the meaning of this, you can see it on the top row, the yellow part. When the person starts waha, it's something, it's like what plus pronoun plus an indicator. How, sida, when, marka, if is hadi. So the last column, if you want to say if I, you will say hadi an. You could also say aniga hadi an, but we also said you could completely leave the aniga and use hadi an, hadi ad, or hadi u, hadi ay, hadi an, hadi ad, and hadi ay. This is the contracted version that I was talking about. Wa'an became wan, wa'ay became way. This is, I'm referring to the third column now. Wu, way, wan. Before it was wa'an, wa, ay, wa, u. It became wu, way, wan, wad, like wad mahadsan tahay. Way, like way baxday. And waxa aan became waxaan. Waxa aad became waxaad. Waxa uu became wuxuu. So you could maybe pause the video and take notes of this. So this is the translation of those examples. If I, if you, if he, if she, the last column, hadi, ad, hadan, hadad, haday. And the second to the last column will be when. When I, you say markan. When you, markad. When he, marku. And in the previous slide it was marka'u. But in the shorter version it's marku. When I, markan. When we, markan. So you could also pause the video and take notes of this. Here are the examples. I'll try to use all the pronouns with the similar verbs to show you how these verbs change from one form to another depending on the pronoun. So the first one is waxaan arkay waxar. I saw a baby goat. Waxaad aragtay waxar. You saw a baby goat. If you pay attention, before it was when you were talking about yourself and you said I, you said waxaan arkay. And now we were talking about you we use waxaad aragtay. Wuxuu arkay. Wuxuu arkay waxar. He saw a baby goat. Waxay aragtay waxar. She saw a baby goat. Waxaan aragnay waxar. We saw a baby goat. Waxaad aragteen waxar. You saw a baby goat. Waxay arkeen waxar. They saw a baby goat. The second example is waxaan maqlay hadal. I heard a talk. Waxaad maqashay hadal. You heard a talk. Wuxuu maqlay hadal. He heard a talk. Waxay maqashay hadal. She heard a talk. Waxaan maqalnay hadal. We heard a talk. Waxaad maqasheen hadal. You heard a talk. And this you is a plural version. So like you guys heard a talk. Waxay maqleen hadal. They heard a talk. So if you are paying attention, the waxay, waxa, and the waxa, when these things change, also the verb changes, even though some pronouns share similar verb form. Waxaan aaday school. I went to school. Waxaad aaday school. You went to school. Wuxuu aaday school. He went to school. Waxay aaday school. She went to school. Waxaan aadnay school. We went to school. Waxaad aadeen school. You went to school. This is the plural version again. Waxay aadeen school. They went to school. Waxaan gatay cunto. I bought a food. Waxaad gadatay cunto. You bought a food. Wuxuu gatay cunto. He bought a food. Waxay gadatay cunto. She bought a food. Waxaan gadanay cunto. We bought a food. Waxaad gadateen cunto. You bought a food. This is the plural version again. waxay gateen cunto. They bought a food. waxaan u socdaa dukaanka. I am going to the store. waxaad u socotaa dukaanka. You are going to the store. wuxuu u socdaa dukaanka. He is going to the store. waxay u socotaa dukaanka. She is going to the store. waxaan u soconnaa dukaanka. We are going to the store. waxaad u socotaan dukaanka. You are going to the store. And this is the plural version again. Like you guys are going to the store. waxay u socdaan dukaanka. They are going to the store. waxaan ahay macallin. I am a teacher. waxaad tahay macallin. You are a teacher. wuxuu yahay macallin. He is a teacher. You could also use this in a smaller, shorter version and say, waa macallin. This man is a teacher. Ninkan waa macallin. Instead of wuxuu yahay, he is, you could say waa macallin. And that's that thing in the last part of the slide. waxay tahay macallimad. She's a teacher. So this whole teacher, the word changed from macallin to macallimad because the name macallin is mostly used for male. Macallimad is used for female teachers. So she is a teacher. waxay tahay macallimad. You could also say, use the same one as the previous one and say waa macallimad for short. waxaan nahay macallimiin. We are teachers. Macallimiin is the plural version of the word macallin. Macallimiin. We are teachers. waxaan nahay macallimiin. waxaad tahay macallin. You are a teacher. waxay yihiin macallimiin. They are teachers. waa markaaga isku day. So it's your turn to try these words. dash tahay maamule. You are a manager. So what is missing from there? Is it waxa? Is it wuxuu? Is it waxay? Is it, what is it? What do you think? Take your time. If you said waxaad, you're correct. So waxaad tahay maamule. You are a manager. Again, try this. ahay khabiir. Is it waxaan ahay khabiir? Is it waxaad ahay khabiir? Is it wuxuu ahay khabiir? What do you think it's missing? waxaan ahay khabiir. Because you learned in the previous slides that waxaan, that an at the end shows you that the pronoun is I, if you have been paying attention. This time try to find the auxiliary verb instead of the indicator, because we already have the indicator. When you say waxaad, is it waxaad nahay khabiir? Is it waxaad yahay khabiir? Is it waxaad tahay khabiir? You are an expert. Or is it waxaad tihiin khabiir? What do you think? waxaad tahay khabiir. Aad shows that the pronoun we're talking about is you. Tahay is the auxiliary verb, like you are khabiir. This is an easy one. ahay wiil. Is it wuxuu ahay wiil? Is it waxaad ahay wiil? Or is it waxay ahay wiil? What do you think? Go back to your notes if you have been taking notes. I am a boy. waxaan ahay wiil. The correct answer is waxaan ahay wiil. I am a boy. Try this one. Dash waday gaari. You drove a car. Waday is the word drove in Somali. Waday. Gaari is the car. So we need to figure out what pronoun indicator this is going to take. Is it waxay waday gaari? Waxaan waday gaari? Because we need to find what pronoun indicator goes with you. And the correct answer is waxaad waday gaari. You drove a car. This is one more example. Waxaan ahay gabar. Waxaan ahay gabar. I am a girl. Waxaad tahay gabar. You are a girl. Waxaan ahay qof daacad ah. Waxaan ahay qof daacad ah. I am an honest person. Waxaan ahay qof daacad ah. You could also say aniga and use the actual pronoun and say aniga. Waxaan ahay qof daacad ah. But since waxaan ahay qof daacad ah gives you the similar meaning, why do you want to go long? Because most people won't use the native speakers. Somali native speakers will most likely omit the actual pronoun and use waxaan ahay qof daacad ah. I am an honest person. Honest is daacad. Qof is a person. Ahay is I am. Waxaan, I think, is the pronoun indicator that we have studied. Waxaad tahay qof daacad ah. You are an honest person. And this concludes our short lesson. Hopefully this explains some of the questions you had about Somali pronouns. Inshallah, next time we will talk about to be in our next lesson. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. This is Marian again, signing off. Bye.